We have been covering the Carlee Russell case since literally day one. The moment she went missing. It was on, wasn't it episode 30 updates? I covered her missing, like the alert that went out saying that she was missing in her description. And we didn't know anything else except that she made a 911 call saying there was a toddler on the side of the road. We were speculating human trafficking. We were concerned. We were worried. As was the whole world. All eyes were on you, Carlee. And you really messed this one up, okay? We've been talking about it on live stream throughout the week, the past 2 weeks, with each update, each press conference, because I think there's been like 3 or 4 at this point.
And I just gotta say, that guy, what is it, the police chief? Like, yeah. Dude, he dresses so nice. I'm so impressed by it. Even today, I'm like, gosh, man, that older man is like, what's up? Yeah.
I know so many people have said that, too.
Have they?
Yeah, so many people have said that. Because I hadn't
seen people commenting on it. So, like, he puts clearly a lot of work in the way that he looks, like his color matching and everything else that he's doing. I think it's important for someone to be like, yeah, dude, you look really good, you know?
Yeah, he looks great. Like, I feel like, I don't know, it's amazing, honestly, because a lot of police officers dress pretty boring. So,
yeah, that's like prime sugar daddy material.
Yep. So, there's been a lot that has happened. She came back home on foot. Her parents went on national news and said they absolutely believed there was an abductor while everyone was doubting her. People were speculating. We heard her statement that she was held in an 18-wheeler truck by an orange head with a guy with orange hair and a bald spot, and that a lady fed her Cheez-Its and painted her nails. We heard the red roof in thing. Well, her lawyer released a statement a few days ago saying that none of that was true. There is no abductor. There is no toddler. And basically, she's sorry. Well, moving on.
Not gonna cut it, girl.
Moving on to today, Friday, July 28th. She turned herself in because they officially charged her.
They put out a warrant for her arrest.
Here's the kicker. With 2 misdemeanors. Now, we're talking... What's
They're
all
class
the...
A,
what is all of the law enforcement agencies? It was Homeland Security, FBI, Secret Services, the local and state police.
Sheriffs. Yeah, everything.
Everybody.
Yep.
Everybody was looking for citizens. Normal private citizens out there forming search parties. There was a woman whose daughter was abducted and killed many years ago who led a search party. Like, there was so many people involved in this, not to mention all the people online talking about it. Well, 2 misdemeanors for a false police report and filing a false statement. Now, the police chief, when he was announcing this in the press conference, said he knows people are going to be upset by this, that it's not harsh enough, it's not enough. And he said he's personally going to reach out to lawmakers to try to get people who do this and stage a hoax, false kidnapping, that he wants it to be harsher.
A false claim.
I don't understand how there's not a way for them to do the whole finances thing. Because I think that's like one of the bigger things here is that she took resources from these law enforcement agencies that are super important to people all over the nation that need them. Yeah.
Well, I think this is a really good example for people out there that maybe don't understand exactly how law works from, front to back, top to bottom. Now, laws are made by the people and politicians and our public servants, and police or prosecution cannot just fabricate a charge out of nowhere, okay? And based off of his reaction, which I trust that guy's reaction. I really, really do. Based off of all the information he's given from the 3 statements that I've watched him give when people are asking questions, he seems very quick and upfront and blunt and straightforward.
Yeah.
And I've appreciated that a lot the entire time. When he can't answer something, he straight up says, look, I don't know, I can't answer that, or whatever. This is the reason why, you know? And he, based off of all that, he seems really trustworthy. So when he's up there this time, he says, like, I am really angry about this, that we can't charge her with more. Now, these are Class A misdemeanors where she's going to have to pay a fine of like $1,000 for each one, with up to a year of jail. Now, I don't know if you caught this, but there was one part in there at the very end where they asked about the financial aspects of this. Somebody did in the media area or whatever when they're taking questions at the end, okay? And he says that, you know, I'm going to talk to the judge. I'm going to follow these charges all the way through. I'm going to work with our lawmakers. And ultimately, I hope through everything, we're going to be able to recover some of the funds that we put into this massive manhunt. So maybe there's going to be something more to it. Maybe there's a way that she can go to court and they add on an additional stipulation. I don't know. But I think that he did everything he could.
They can press more charges later. They can add on things. And it, like, in court proceedings a lot of times, like,
I don't know if that's the right way to do it though. To add on more charges. I think that
it's happened so many times.
I mean, yes, if they find more evidence of additional crimes than they do. But they are not allowed to go create a law and then come back and charge her with that law. I don't see any more charges coming to her.
But, yeah, I agree. But this can be something for the future. Like, I think that
to prevent this.
Yes, I think that is the positive that comes out of it, is that this will be less likely to happen in the future, and we know to, like, look out for this now.
We don't want copycats, and I think that's what people are worried about with how quick this blew up, you guys. I think that if you have another person out there that's going through it, it sounds like, for real, Carlee was going through it, and that's not an excuse. She should have never did what she did. Like, normal people go through stuff all the time, and you figure out how to cope and deal with it and not act a fool like that.
She was just dealing with a cheating boyfriend. Like, everybody's dealt with that.
Yeah, I get that.
There could be more.
But even if it is really bad, it doesn't matter. I don't care how bad it is. Like, that is too much, too far, and involving a fake child and setting up this grand scheme and everything else. Like, that's just too much. And they want to prevent copycats from coming out, because you might have another person out there going through something that's not mentally stable or not making very stable decisions and have decision-making process that's reliable, and they're going to go out there and try and make a name for themselves because all of a sudden their name's in the world news, you know what I mean? And we got to be able to prevent that.
Yeah, we do. So she bailed herself out on a $2,000 bond, just had to pay $1,000. And yep, she's out on the streets.
Yeah, I don't think that people understand how stuck she's going to be for a very long time. You know, on stream the other day, we watched a video, you guys, and you should go watch it.
I know, I wanted to bring that up.
Yeah, we watched a video where she is talking to get a scholarship for going to school, and she is sitting in between her grandparents, and she's fabricating an entire lie, you guys, that's just not true. And what's wild is that her grandparents don't say anything for a very long time while she's recording, and I think she believes what she's saying that her grandpa was a drug dealer and ended up going through something, having a hard time dealing with his wife or her grandma prostituting herself, so he started using his own drugs, and then she, the prostitute, had to put him in a rehab, and then she rehabbed from being a prostitute, and like her words exactly were, she's a recovering prostitute and he's a recovering crackhead, essentially. Well, none of it's true.
Yeah, her grandparents sat there for a long time. They had like laughs and stuff, and they're kind of like, what's going on? At the end, you kind of figure out they both like were looking at each other like to say something, and then eventually they did. But she goes, it's just a wild story to get a scholarship. It's outrageous, but you guys should definitely go check it out. I feel like it gives a little bit of insight into the family dynamic a little bit, who Carlee is, and that would be our VOD, so our live stream, you can watch it after. It would be from Thursday, July 27th.
Yep, absolutely. And I'm curious to know what you guys think about that. Yeah. And it was really weird to me they went so far into the conversation without speaking up, but like based off listening to the whole thing, the grandfather is an educated man. He went to school, he went to college. He said that sure, I've been to a rehab to go look at patients, go look at the people that are in the rehab, not to rehab myself.
I think he said he was there to help him even.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And it just blew my mind. Like, I didn't get it. Where did that come from? And they couldn't even figure out when they're all sitting there who exactly it came from in the family. Like, she literally made it all up in her head.
Yeah, or she heard some kind of
hood rich, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like she acted like they come from poverty or something, and from what we've seen, that's not true.
No way. Her family's part of the local country club. She's driving a bright red Mercedes SUV. Come on. Yeah.
So I think this is just like, I think she's kind of a toxic person who wants a lot of attention and extremely manipulative, and has gotten away with it her whole life until now.
Yeah, and if anything, I bet the parents are guilty of not holding her accountable in these situations. Because even that video, like, if I would have been there, the second I heard something wrong, I would have been like, whoa, what are you talking about? Like, what is going on here? You know, stop. I wouldn't have just let it continue and try and figure it out as I go.
I agreed, and it's also strange that nobody ever gets firm with her. They're laughing it off and like dying laughing, and it's just like so offensive. Funny. But they're like, that never happened, Carlee, and it's just weird.
Yeah, it was awkward.
Yeah, to like go on video and tell a college that your sophisticated grandparents are an ex-crackhead and a prostitute is like...
When they're not. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I don't think there's anything wrong with being a recovering addict, an addict, being a prostitute, or, as she said, recovering prostitute, whatever that is. But there's nothing wrong with that. But, like, that's not what they were. And that's what the problem is she was trying to create this lie and this background for this specifically black scholarship, and coming up with this backstory like that you expect to hear from a rapper. Like, like Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, they came up in the hood in Long Beach area selling, 5 sacks or whatever, and then they hit it big and they changed their whole life around. And like, it was almost like that is what she was trying to portray, which clearly wasn't true. So, manipulation.
Yep.
Wild.
We also read on a live stream some of the text to the girl that her dude. Yeah, her ex-boyfriend cheated on her with, and they're horrific, like calling her a stripper and not knowing who her baby daddy is, and she's like, I'm
Well,
rich
putting
and
her
you're
down.
poor, and you know, you're ugly and I'm beautiful. Like,
Right.
awful.
Just really,
Horrible.
really awful. Trying to cut deep when there's no need for that.
There's no reason to even say anything ill towards somebody like the other woman, the side chick. There's no reason to do that. It's not her fault.
No,
He's the problem.
Yeah.
Not her.
If she even knew at all, you don't even know that. You
Right.
know? But
Of course.
But again, as always, guys, we want to know what you think about this.
Yeah.
We want to know how you feel about the charges. Do you feel like this is justice? Do you hope that somebody that was involved in, you know, one of the public helpers in this is going to bring up a civil lawsuit against her, try to recover some of the damages from the emotional issues that it could have stirred up when they thought they were trying to do something good, and prevent her family from having to go through the same harm they went through when they lost somebody, and it all be a hoax? Like, oh man, that just blows my mind, man. The amount of people that came out to support you, and it was a hoax, you know. And you look at that situation, and like, you look at all the people that invested all the extra time, and like, it makes you feel good about that. The amount of people that were willing to help somebody that they didn't even know come out and try and make sure she was okay. But then you have the other side of the coin here, and she's just a straight up liar, manipulator, you know, a rich little spoiled brat that
wants attention,
has
wants people
no
to
concept of life.
like, it's like that whole idea, like, you're gonna be sorry when I'm gone,
right?
That kind of thing. And
that's totally
not to
what
mention
it was.
all the missing people who really need that attention to their case. Like, they really need help. They need people looking for them, which I think you were gonna cover some of the missing people in the country right now.
Yeah. So there were a couple concerns that were brought up recently in the Carlee Russell trial. When they were making a statement, there were people asking the police officers, are you worried, since this happened and it was a hoax and you guys invested so much time and money into this, the next time there's a missing person, are you guys going to invest the same kind of resources and time and make it the same kind of priority? And that both officers that were there spoke up very quickly, you know, and I'll bring up the other question in a second, but they said yes, absolutely. It had nothing to do with who she was. It had to do with the fact that we had a missing person out there. We had a child involved, and we had a potential person that was harming these two victims, right, that they were looking for. And so they brought all the people they could into search and hunt these people down and try and make sure that they came back okay. And yeah. Where was I going with that?
You're supposed to talk about the missing people.
No, I get that, but I had a point where
they made a statement that we should bring awareness to people who are actually missing. Is that what you're talking about?
No, I don't remember what my point was, but that's okay. The police officers made
that was a long rant, man.
Yeah, the police officers gave all the right answers, you know what I mean? And that's where I was going with it, is somebody asked a question about race and if that had to do with this situation. And both of them spoke up and said, absolutely not. We couldn't care less what color or race or gender or anything that somebody is. We're going to invest the same kind of time and resources into finding them regardless. So
I think the child added an extra sense of urgency and grabbed people's attention, because it's like a toddler in a diaper walking on the side of the interstate, and then them both being abducted. This young girl who just tried to help this baby. Like, it was, it got you in your feelings. Like, you're really concerned about this person who was trying to do a good deed and this child who's all alone on the side of an interstate in the dark. Like,
no,
that's terrifying.
I agree with you 100%. But